Time is a very interesting thing. Each day, everybody is given 24 hours, no more, no less. And unlike the other major currency the world has, money, you can't actually make more time. But you can determine how you spend it. And recently, I haven't been doing a great job of that. You see, I have an iPhone, and one of the cool features that an iPhone has is you can see just how much time you've spent looking at your phone. I looked at that time recently and I realized I've been spending a lot of time on there. And that's something that I really want to start changing. So this week I'm going to be replacing all of my screen time with music production and some other things that are a bit more productive than just browsing YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Like getting this mattress that's old finally out of the way, or getting this really cheap and budget-friendly red piano set up. And of course I have to record this because obviously, does growth even happen if you don't tell anybody about it? Right now, we need to get to work. That's my old phone case. I actually am recording using my phone, but just trust me, I was on a phone call, really cool guy named Logan. We're gonna be designing some merch for him, so that's gonna be pretty cool. And also, just a quick heads up, some of the final time counts, amount, whatever you want to call it, might look a little bit different from what I actually spent on my phone last week, my final screen time count. I do use YouTube to practice for different things that I'm playing at, so even though the time might be a little bit different from what my screen time report says, I am going to keep it fair, because the biggest thing when you're trying to do something like this, and if you want to try it, is don't cheat yourself. Okay, back to work. Okay, so last Monday I spent 6 hours and 46 minutes on my phone. That's pretty depressing to think about. I'm not gonna sit here and make excuses because obviously, for one reason, my legs are in the standing position right now. And two, while I do use my phone for some good things, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video, there's gonna be some changes that need to be made. So that's why this week is happening. And good morning, it's day 2, also Tuesday, works out kind of perfectly. Anyway, today is going to be a little bit of a busier day. The next couple of days actually will be. As you can see from this screenshot, I didn't quite meet my goal from yesterday, but I got pretty close, so I'm going to call that somewhat of a win for yesterday. So today I'm going to be working for just about 5 hours. I know my screen time from last week was about 7.5, but about 2.5 of that was from DoorDash, so I'm personally not going to count that. Anyway, busy day today. I'm going to go ahead and hop on my productivity app and we will get everything scheduled. Alright, and we just got back from lunch with my friend. Super cool guy. We got to talk about a lot of different things and just kind of catch up. So I know yesterday I focused a lot on recording the music for some reels that I've got coming up soon. I might try to record the video for at least one of the reels tonight if I have time. My focus for today though is actually 2 things. Number 1, I want to go ahead and do a little bit more editing to a song that I'm working on with an artist. Cannot wait to put this song out, but hopefully send that off to her for some approval in the next couple of days. Then I also need to spend some time practicing for tonight because we do have church music practice for this upcoming Sunday tonight. So it's going to be kind of a full evening today, but I mean, that's part of it and it's fun. That's not how you play it. Nope, that's not it either. That's also not it. Okay, I think we are good for the moment. So, alright, let's head to practice. Now, I do want to make something very clear. I don't think that social media is necessarily a bad thing. After all, I'm literally recording a video for you right now, and I'm going to be posting it on social media. I think that there are some things that companies that run social media can do to make things a little safer and a little better experience for everybody. but I don't think that it's all necessarily their fault that things are so bad sometimes. At the same time, it's not even necessarily good. I don't think it's actually either good or bad. Alright, I think we are going to round out this day with a little bit of editing for one of the artists that I'm working with. So we're going to be working on that track. It's pretty much done. We're just adding the finishing touches onto it. It's really turning out pretty well, if I do say so myself. I'm going to get back into this. And good morning, welcome back. It's Wednesday, hump day, anti-penultimate day till Friday, October, whatever you want to call today. And technically it's not really morning because it's already this afternoon, but I've been busy today. I've done a phone call with an artist about graphic design for one of their merch items. I've also been busy redesigning that and getting things ready for this afternoon because I have another artist that I'm working with. Her name's Brooke. I cannot wait to show you her song, but we are going to be working a little bit more on the music production side of things today. So that's going to be exciting. But either way, it's going to be a full day. Hopefully after this, we get a little bit more rest time. And yeah. Okay, just finished working with Brooke. I am so happy with how this song is turning out. I cannot wait for this to be like heard. Anyway, I need to go ahead and do a little touch-ups on a couple of the songs we're playing tonight at church. I am playing in the high school group tonight. Big question of the day. Should I go bold or basic? That's not even a question. Anybody who knows me actually knows that I would only go basic. Social media for me has been an absolute game changer when I'm trying to, ow, my finger. I've been able to connect with a lot of different people from literally all around the world, people that I probably would have never met before had I not had social media. If you would have told musicians or singers or actors or anything like that from even 100 years ago, they could literally post this video or this piece of content on basically this big, amazing piece of newspaper that could be seen by almost literally anybody in the world, they would have probably killed for that opportunity. Ah, I messed up this not again. At the same time, social media can also be a pretty big waste of time, where we spend hours on hours after just trying to do a quick Google search or a quick little, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and check and see what this guy's been doing lately. All of a sudden, we just get sucked into this big time warp, and without realizing it, it's been a few hours since we've been off of social media. But remember what I said yesterday about social media not exactly being good or even bad? Let me explain. Let me go to church first, and then I'll take you to the bathroom. Don't worry, it's not that type of channel. This is a bottle of soap, and yes, I do use the sensitive version because, well, I am sensitive. Now let me ask you, what do you think of soap? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Most people would say it's actually pretty good for you because it keeps you clean, and they would be right. Now if I were to take this exact same bottle of soap, open it up, and start drinking it, what would you say? Probably, hey, don't do that. That's bad for you. Notice what I just said though. What's actually bad for you? Is it the soap? That can't be right. We literally just talked a few seconds ago about how it's good to keep you clean. You see, nothing about the soap actually changed, just the way that I used it. And just like that, we have to make sure that we're careful with how we use social media. Okay, let's get out of the bathroom because it's kind of getting a little awkward here. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And welcome to Thursday. At this point, I kind of feel like a daily vlogger. Yesterday, I had to beat a time of about 3 hours and 45 minutes of screen time. We did accomplish that, so that's awesome. This past Thursday, my screen time was about 7.5 hours, but about 2 of those were from DoorDash, so we will reduce that down to 5.5. We're gonna be DoorDashing tonight. This morning, I did go ahead and take a little bit of time to rest. It has been a pretty busy week trying to record this, edit, also try to do actual things that I was trying to do this week, like music production and editing and stuff like that. So goals for today, I need to first off clean up my room from my recording yesterday because it's looking a little bit messy. I also need to record a reel video, the music that we were working on this past week. I'm going to go ahead and record the video for that today. Somewhat busy evening today, but it is going to be good, and let's get right into it. I also learned a really cool trick. I heard that if you slapped your left shoulder, it actually changes out your keyboard for you. Okay, we just finished recording all of the videos for the Give Up on Love remix. I'm super happy with how they turned out. So I think at this point, I'm going to take some time to edit that video just a little bit and at least get that started. I would love to get that uploaded Sunday for y'all. So let's go ahead and get to work on that. Okay, just got back from doing some DoorDash. It went pretty well. It could have been better, could have been worse. It was one of those kind of average days, but overall, not too bad. I think I've got like 45-ish minutes left to be able to complete my challenge for today. Probably just gonna wind up finishing editing that video that I was working on earlier. I think tomorrow's gonna be more of a rest day and a productive day in a different way, because being productive doesn't always have to do with work. All right, welcome back. It is Friday and it is the end of the week. Super excited and super happy with how this past week has turned out. I think it's been a pretty cool little eye-opening experience. I think we've got a lot of stuff done. I actually overachieved on my goal yesterday and I was able to spend about an hour extra. So I finished my video, got that all edited, so I think it's looking pretty cool. Probably stayed up a little too late to do that, so I slept in a little bit this morning, but it's all good. It has been a little bit of a challenge today to get motivated to do anything. This past week has been pretty busy, and honestly, I'm kind of just tired. So I think it's time we talk a little bit more about what productivity actually means. When we hear that word productivity, production, productiveness, if you're one of the fancier people that uses what I don't even know is a word, you probably think of it as a word that measures how much you've done. It's kind of hard to blame us for thinking that way because our culture values production and getting things done so much. Now, make no mistake, because I absolutely agree that we do need to balance work and rest. Sometimes we need to work a little bit more, sometimes we need to rest a little bit more, all depending on our current situations. However, sometimes it does seem like we fall into this trap of thinking we have to do one or the other. We can easily over-rest and become lazy, or we can easily overwork and get caught up in this hustle culture, which I think has good intentions, but it's typically not played out very well. See, I know a lot of people, including myself, have probably grown up thinking that being productive means you just have to do absolutely everything that everybody asks of you, and you just have to keep on going and pushing and I guess, to put it simply, being productive isn't about how much you do, it's about what you do. It's about trying to find that unique, individual, what works for you balance between work and rest. And also make sure that they're not trying to fight against each other. Also, it's about being intentional with your time, which if you follow along on my social media, then you'll know that my word for this year is intentional. That's part of what this whole week has been about, not just finding the time, but making the time to focus on the things that really matter. Okay, just got back from doing some DoorDash. It went pretty well tonight, a little bit better than it did last night. Still got a little ways to go on my time goal for today. Probably not gonna wind up making it for today, but I mean, it's okay. I'm not gonna stress it. I don't want to make a habit of it, of course, but I am gonna try. I need to go ahead and take some time to work a little bit on a new project that's coming out very, very soon that you have not heard of yet. Anyway, I'm gonna go work on that for a little bit, head off to bed, and enjoy some of the weekend, which starts tomorrow. Good morning, y'all, and welcome to Saturday. We are almost done with our little weekly challenge. So like I figured yesterday evening, we would not meet our goal from this past week, which is a little unfortunate, but it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Today's goal is going to be on the screen right here. We've got to meet about 8.5 hours, which should actually be perfect because we're going to be working on a couple of big projects that I've got coming out soon. But at the moment, we're going to go with my family and we are going to hang out for a little bit and just relax at this really cool little coffee shop that just opened up. If you've watched my videos for a while, you know that I worked at Little Cakes with Big Attitude about a year ago. Super fun, absolutely loved working there, but they just opened up a new store recently in the town that I live in, so we're gonna go check that out and just have a good little relaxing morning. All right, just finished a little practice for Sunday, which is tomorrow. About to hop in bed probably, but yeah, we're super excited about tomorrow. It's one thing that I really like to do on Saturday nights is just kind of sit back and relax and not just practice for the songs for Sunday, but also just listen more to the lyrics. It really gives me an opportunity to feel the lyrics, if that makes sense. I don't know if you possibly play at your church or sing at your church, but sometimes we can get locked into this go, 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 gotta get everything correct, get all of our transitions, our sequences, everything like that taken care of. And I absolutely am 100% for that. I love things that are planned and ordered and set up, and that's biblical. But at the same time, I also love to just get to sit down and not just practice, but really get into the lyrics and see what they mean. And personally, whenever that happens, I think that our worship becomes a little bit more powerful. So we're not just playing any old song, we're actually playing songs that have meaning to us. I lost my train of thought. See y'all tomorrow. Weather's actually not too bad today, and we also get to be here a little bit later because we practiced earlier. Amazing. Hey y'all, so remember what I said just a few moments ago about how it was so nice outside? Let's just forget that I even said that. So I think running outside is probably not going to be in the forecast for today. Okay, so time for an evening check-in. I'm pretty sure I am over halfway to my time goal for today, which is amazing. This afternoon, obviously, you have to take a Sunday afternoon nap. That hit. That was amazing today. But yeah, this whole experience this past week has been amazing. It's been really eye-opening to see just how much time I really have. And it's been a good reminder for myself and hopefully y'all that you have more time than you think you do. Okay. It has officially been a week since I started swapping my phone screen time for things that were a little bit more productive, and I thought I would just hop on here and just kind of share how the week went, what I learned from it, different things like that. First up, it's something I kind of touched on a little bit last night, and it's that I realized I had a lot more time than I thought I did. A common phrase that we sometimes hear and even say sometimes, including myself, is that we just simply don't have time. And while I definitely do not want to belittle those times where that is true, because there are some cases where it is, and obviously energy and motivation levels play into whether or not we want to do things, so I definitely understand that that's part of it. But from a time-specific standpoint, we actually have a lot of time. Now you may be thinking, well Jared, that's super easy for you to say. You spent 5, 6, 7, 8 hours this past week each day working on some of your projects. I simply don't have that time. And look, I totally get that. Chances are likely, if you're watching this video, you're probably a college student, or you're just getting out of college, or maybe you work part-time or full-time, or whatever your situation is. It may simply not be possible to work multiple hours each day on a project that you're super passionate about. And get this, That's okay. But one thing that I relearned this past week, and hopefully this helps you, is even if you can't spend multiple hours a day working on a project you really want to work on, you can find at least a few minutes each day to work on it. Because again, we can't create more time, but we can make more space so we can use our time for the things that we really want to do. At least you're making progress, and that's a big deal. So the second thing that I wanted to share from this past week is also the thing that I have the most trouble on and the thing that I need to work on the most. Just because you're busy, it doesn't mean that you're productive. Here's what I mean. In the Bible, there's a story about two sisters, Mary and Martha. Now they're both trying to get their house ready because Jesus and some of his friends are coming to pay them a visit. So eventually Jesus and his friends show up, and while Martha's busy trying to take care of all of these last-minute preparations, Mary's just kind of hanging out in the corner listening to Jesus. Now you might think that, oh, well, she has Jesus Christ himself literally in her living room. She'd probably be a little bit more patient with Mary. That's wrong. And to be honest, if I was in her position, I probably would not blame her for being a little upset that she is trying to take care of all the stuff while Mary gets to just sit. To paraphrase, Jesus goes on to say, well, Martha, it's okay. I know you're focused on a lot of things, but realistically, there's only one thing that you really need to focus on. And Mary's doing that. Notice that he never says that Martha was focusing on bad things, because she wasn't. I'm pretty sure that they were glad that she was actually trying to get dinner ready for them. It's not that Martha made a bad decision instead of a good decision. She did make a good decision, but there is a better one that could have been made. And Mary made that. And in the context of today, there are tons of good things that we could absolutely do. But just because things might be a good decision, it doesn't always mean that it's the best decision for us. So I'll sum it up like this. Don't just fill your schedule up with good things. Fill it up with the right things. And one of those right things that we need to focus on is resting. But what exactly does rest mean? For me, I describe it as intentionally slowing down to recharge and just simply appreciate the life that God has given to us. Maybe this is just me overthinking it, but I don't think it's just a once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is a once-in-an-eternity type thing. I mean, think about it. This is the only time, past, present, or future, that you and I will be alive at this specific time in this specific state of the world. And while there is absolutely heaven, and I hope that you and I are both there, this is the only time ever that we will be in a broken world where we are specifically called to be a light for Jesus. Think on that for just a little bit and tell me if you're not more motivated to be more intentional. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked with that. My point is, just like in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, there is a time for everything. There is absolutely a time to work, to grind, to give it everything you have and push yourself beyond what you think you can handle. And then there's also a time to just rest and relax and recharge. Both do not fight against each other. Both complement each other. So as this past week wraps up, I want to be very clear. The whole point of this video has not been to villainize social media at all. And it's also not been to fill up your schedules, do nothing fun at all whatsoever, and wind up burnt out and stressed. I just simply wanted to make a choice to be a bit more intentional with how I spend my time. Because again, there's a time to work well and rest well. And for some of us, that resting looks like playing video games or watching funny cat videos on our phones, which, to be honest, if you don't like those, we can't be friends. But seriously, there's no reason to feel guilty about resting, especially when we need it. But anyway, apologies if this video has come across a little scattered or something like that. This is just how I kind of get my thoughts out there. But anyway, if I could leave you with one thing, it would be this. Be focused, be diligent, be driven to do the things that God has placed on your heart to do, and give your absolute best with that. Be intentional with your time and use it wisely. And that also means being intentional to slow down and rest when needed, and simply enjoy the little things, which turns out aren't exactly that little.